So in this video we'll be taking a look at the creating sections and mapping these sections into our process, copying the payload into that view, and then we'll be simply mapping that same view into the remote process and execute the shellcode. So first, these sections are kind of like shared memory. You can whenever you want to write some data into some large file like 500 MB or 1 GB or 2 GB of file, so then you don't need to load the entire file. You can load some part of that file and you can write to that part of the file. And also these sections are used to for the shared memory, so that means one process can write and another process can read from these sections. So first we'll be creating the section, and then we'll be using map view of the section. So that's whole section or some part of the section can be mapped into our own process address space using this function NtMapViewofSection. And in that memory we can do some changes. You can write some data and you don't need to commit specifically. The operating system will automatically save the changes, and when other process maps the sections view, then the latest changes for this data will be reflected into that process address space. So function will be using are the create section. So this is the ZW, the kernel uses this function. We will be using the NT create section. So you can copy this from the p invoke. For the NtMapViewofSection, we need to make some small modifications here. This is also the in parameter, so you need to pass the reference. So first let's create the section. I have already declared all of these here, so let's go and create. Let's see the first parameters, the out. So we will get the handle to the section and the desired access, object attributes, maximum size, section page protection. So we will be declaring read write execute, and allocation attributes and the file handle. So here you can see the section can be created using the file handle as well, and then we can view some part of file using the map viewer section. So we will be passing null because we already have the shellcode. So this is the shellcode generated by MSF Venom 64-bit calculator. So let's create the section, NT create section, and the first parameter is out. So let's say int pointer section handle. And the desired access is, so I have already copied this from p invoke. If you type in the access mask, you will get all these values. So we'll be declaring section all access. And the object attributes, we can pass this null, and the maximum size, so you need to pass this payload amount of size. So let's just say max size is equals to 1000 hexadecimal bytes. So reference max size, and the section page protection. I think section page protection, we need to pass the read write execute. So pass this one 40, allocation attributes. So we are going to commit this one. The last one is file handle. We don't have anything, so 0. So we should be good to go. and the return value is the NT status code, and we are going to check if section handle not is equals to into pointer dot 0. If equal to into pointer dot 0, then that means the function failed, and we need to print the return value, that is res. Else what we are going to do is we are going to print the section handle, and we are going to close this. We can use the function called ntclose section handle. So let's build this one and let's run this, and we got the section. So we have successfully created the section. Now we can map this using the NT map view of the view of section. So I did not find this in MSDN. So first one is the section handle, and the second one is process handle. So base address is optional. If you did not specify, the OS will allocate for you, and 0 bits commit size. So we can pass them null, and the view size, this will pass the maximum size, and inherit disposition. So we need to pass the value 1 or 2. We will be passing view unmap, and the next one is allocation type mem commit, and next one is page protection. For the page protection of our local process, we can specify read write, because we are not be executing in our local process. We will be allocating same view, we'll be mapping the view onto the remote process, and then we can allocate read execute on that remote process. So let's go and create NT map view of section. So the first one is the section handle, and the next one is the process handle. So we can get that using process dot get current process dot handle. The third one is 0 bit, so we need to, let's say, so this one is the, okay, so normally no reference for this, and next one is also commit size. And the next one is section offset, so it should be 0. So here you can see it is also a in parameter, but in the pin work it's only out parameter. So first time I got this function failed because of this. So ulong section offset is equals to 0. So let's fill these one by one. 0 bits commit size and reference section offset, and the same will be for the view size is equals to maximum size. Reference view size. So we can pass this as to for the view unmap. And the last one is sorry, there are two, mem commit. So mem commit So pass this one, and the next one is the page protection. So we can pass only the page read write, page read write. Okay, we did not give the base address, so sorry for that. I forgot the base address. So int pointer base address is equals to 0. Send this as reference base address. Oh, this one is uint. Okay, so let's, if the base address is equals to into pointer dot 0, then map error res 2. Else what we can do is we can just print out the base address. Base address dot to string. So after printing the base address, we can actually unmap this. We can use NtMapViewofSection proc handle and the base address. So let's build this one, and let's put a breakpoint at this before NtMapViewofSection. So let's go and run this. So we got the error. So we need to convert to hexadecimal and Google for NT status codes. So invalid parameter. So I found the error. So we need to change this mem commit to 0 because it's already committed in this create section. So we can pass this 0 here. Now let's run this, and we will have the address. And if you go this, we have all nulls. So let's continue. Now what we can do is we can copy our let's copy normally the normal ASCII characters. So byte temp is equals to encoding dot default dot get bytes of So let's say ABCD, and we are going to copy this to the base address. Now let's put the breakpoint before this copy and run this one, and let's you can see we have nothing, and let's go and step into this, and here we can see ABCD. So let's continue this one. Now what we're going to do is we are going to copy our calculator payload to this view, and also let's change this to page read write execute, because we are going to test in our local process, then we can simply map to the remote process. So copy the payload.length, and let's run this, and let's click on step into, and we have the payload. Here you can see calc.exe. Now we are going to create the thread at this base address. Create thread. So the first one is the attributes, we can say 0, and the next one is tag size 0, base address, and function parameters. There are no function parameters. Creation flags 0 means we need to start the thread immediately, and thread id is equals to 0, out thread id. So we are good to go. So let's put the breakpoint and start this. So there is nothing. Let's copy, let's execute this instruction master.copy, and we have the payload here. Now we are about to create a thread. Let's run this, and here we can see the calculator got popped. So let's continue this one and let's exit. So we are good to go. So after copying into the view, so we can just comment this one. So we have successfully copied the payload into view, and then we need to map this same view into the remote process. So what we can do is we can say open process, so we need to specify process all access. So this one or this one, so you can just simply add these places. So it gives like 1 ff. So we have the process all access, and inherit handle false, and the process id. We will be changing this process id. So let's say notepad. So we have the PID 2000. So let's paste this here and pass this PID here. Let's PID. It will be very simple. Then process underscore id. So we will be getting the handle. So if proc handle is equals to 0, then you can say failed to open process, else we have successfully opened the process. Now all we need is we need to just map this section. So you can copy the same variables, paste here, 0 bits to commit size 2. So change this to remote base. So the first one is section handle, and the next one is process handle, that is proc handle, which we open to the notepad, and then the reference remote base, and 0 bits to commit size 2, and reference section offset 2, and the view size, reference view size 2, share and map 0, and the last one is page read execute, so 20. And if remote base is equals to 0, then print remote map error, and this time print the this return type, that is the error, else. So there is a success in mapping this section into the remote process. All we need to do is we need to just create a remote thread. Proc handle, and the next one is attributes, which can be 0, stack size 0, and start address is remote base, and the function parameters 0, creation flags 0, so the thread should start immediately, and then the thread ID. We will be getting the thread handle. So I think we are good to go. So let's put the breakpoint at this create remote thread and run this. So let's run this. Okay, let's continue, and we got the calculator pop. Let's also print the remote base. So let's run this. So read execute. So here you can see, I think this is the exact address of the above one, so this one, and here we can see the exact our calculator payload has been mapped into this view. And one thing is, you don't need to unmap the view from the remote process, so it should be there. And you should not the unmap view of the section, otherwise our payload not gonna run. So this program is also working for 32-bit. All you need to do is put the 32-bit payload and change the compilation to x86.